only way I can do live is to do it vertical. So this is going to be a vertical video, and that way I don't have to upload it. And for some reason when I go live, it only goes to, it'll be live, but then it goes to private, and I have to change it to public later. So people can watch it live, or I can change it to public later and it's still a live video. But I can also store it on YouTube, and I don't have to download it and then upload it from my phone. So this is November 6th, 2024, and I've been doing weather report updates, and the leaves are pretty well down, so it's time for fall cleanup before the big chill, before winter hits. And you know, we have gotten snow early in November, and we have had spring weather in December, so you really never know in New Hampshire what the weather's going to be like. As I say, if you don't like the weather in New Hampshire, just wait a minute, because it changes. But anyway, it's the day after the election, and I've done some election videos because I was on the ballot in my town for New Hampshire State Rep, and it was really a fun day. It was very long, and this is I think the third time that I've done this. I was there for school board. I had no idea what I was doing when I ran for school board. I had a friend that told me the timeline of what to do: raise some money, buy some signs, and start, you know, getting the word out. But that was in March, like January to March, and March is our town election. So it was freezing cold. So it was really hard to get out, and I didn't really knock on doors. I did phone calls and stuff like that, but I didn't knock on doors, to be honest with you. But I did put in signs in the ice. I had to bring a drill around and put signs in. So then the next year I ran for library trustee because we had a need for a library trustee, and that's a long story. Then I also ran for ethics committee, which I also won those races. And in a small town, it's not really the hardest thing to win a vote, because there aren't really that many volunteers, to be honest with you. But I have to say that in our town, we have some really good people that stepped up to help out. So it's not like you have bad choices and good choices. Sometimes you're just really happy for the person that stepped up. And fortunately for us, we do have a good group of people that are working as leaders in our town right now. And we had good people before now, but what I noticed was a lot of the people that were in positions before 2020 were in those positions for a really long time. So they were in those positions for a really long time, and it was kind of time for a change, because they were kind of like not getting things done as efficiently. So yeah, so we are the day after the election, and it's a beautiful sunny day. I'm in New Hampshire, and our town voted everything conservative. So we have 3 state representatives that we voted for conservative that I'm with, Bennett, Nato, and Drago. We all won our race, so we will be sworn in January. The other races were also the Republicans, except for somehow Kamala Harris won New Hampshire. But it looks like Donald Trump won the entire country, so I'm glad for that. So I am headed out to school, and as you can see, in my window, the weather is a beautiful sunny day. The sky is blue and it's very warm. It is actually 63 degrees right now, and it's supposed to be in the upper 70s. So you just never know in this state, like, how the weather's gonna go. We have never gone a winter without snow. Maybe we've had winters with a little bit of snow, but we always expect it to get cold in the winter. But we might have some warmer weather in November and December. And then the big chill comes in January and February. So, hey, Kelly. And Kelly's my friend from YouTube. I met Kelly on YouTube, and we're teacher friends now. She's a teacher, I'm a teacher, and we share tips and we share things that we like to do in our free time. And we both like to be involved in our government. And she actually teaches government classes. I teach math classes. So, yeah, we like to check in on each other, you know, what we're doing on YouTube, what we are doing in our teacher world, as well as, you know, how we're doing with getting involved in our community. So we had this past weekend, we had the fall back situation, as we well know. I don't know, there are some places that don't do daylight savings, they call it, which a lot of people say it's kind of questionable whether we actually save anything. But I kind of miss, now that I'm getting up an hour, what is it? We set the clocks back. So, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I never can figure it out. But I didn't see the sun come up this morning. That's what I'm trying to say. So, it looks almost like it's later than morning. But I'm on my way to school. It is 7:30, and usually there's not a lot of traffic. So it's time. Yesterday was the election. The election's over. We can take a breather now and just kind of recoup our energy, thoughts, get our regular life organized a little bit, and clean up all of the signs. We have signs all over town, and we have had wind and rain and all kinds of wild weather, and our signs are out. And I will tell you that the first time I put a sign out with my name on it was a really weird feeling. I didn't really like it. But now that I've been elected a few times, it's kind of like, I guess I have a job to do. I guess these people want me to help them do a job, right? So last night was pretty awesome. I made a little video on my way home. It was kind of in the dark. But yesterday all day, we had no Democrats that came to hold signs. So it was just all the Republicans, and so we're all friends. We had one guy dressed up in a Trump outfit, and he waved the Trump flag very, very energetically. So that was really fun. And I told him, you know, we tried to get Trump to come, but he was kind of busy, so I'm glad he sent you, because you were our second choice. He liked that. He actually is a janitor, I guess, at the school in Raymond. So he waved the flag for us, and that was really awesome. I think he made the day really special. And we held our signs, and I think a lot of people didn't even know that we were the actual people. I had one guy come out of the polls and said, "Are the candidates going to show up today?" And I'm like, you should have asked that on the way in, because yes, we're right here. And I introduced all of ourselves and everything. And so that was cool. I also was able to talk to someone holding, we have a Senator Keith Murphy, and this guy held the sign for Keith Murphy, and I had a really good conversation with him. He has a son who's like really good at math, so that was really fun. So we talked math stuff, teacher stuff, and that was very interesting. He also said he had descendants from Armenia, so that was really interesting because I've done a little bit of research on Armenia, and I know a guy on YouTube with This Way Network. His name is Michael, and he is studying the Armenian genocide, and he wants to actually do a movie about it. So that was very interesting. He had, I think he said his grandmother survived Armenia genocide and stuff like that. So that was really interesting. All of that history, we talked for like a couple of hours. And then toward the end of the night, everybody had gone home except for me and one other, Brian, who's on my slate. And we had this huge long line of people who were going to be registering same day and voting. And I was a little nervous because I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, are these people all for one president or the other? And so I didn't know what I was going to do. They were very, very quiet. They were all just standing there silently and kind of had their backs to me a little bit. And so I started singing God Bless America. Not really loud, but kind of like in a regular voice. And I sang a couple patriotic songs. They did not seem to like pick up on it. So then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna talk to them. So I just said, hi, I'm Cindy Bennett. I'm running for state representative. And I wondered while you're standing here if you have any questions. And I just kind of joked and I said, you know, would anybody like to shake my hand? And so one guy actually did shake my hand, and he said, you're the most political person I've ever shaken the hand of. And I was like, wow. And so I thought, wow, these people are really voting for the first time and they have no idea what they're doing. So I'm just going to keep talking. And I kept saying, you know, vote for the people that show up. I said, we show up. We have been here all day since 7 o'clock, and we are here asking for your vote. And so, and then I said, do you have any questions? And so I did get some questions from the people, and then when I was answering the question, I was able to kind of like talk about different things about the town. I told them about our town website and how we have, our town is run by 5 board members. And we talked about, I said, if you want to write a letter to someone on a board, if you want to talk about something that is going on in our town, you can write a letter to a board member, or you can, you know, even come to a board meeting and talk about it. So we talked about that, and I said, you know, going one time doesn't really get anything done. I said, people always say that nothing works, you know, the boards don't listen to us. And I said, you know, you can't just go one time and go in and just yell at people and leave and say they don't listen, they don't do anything. I said, you have to have a purpose, you have to have a plan, you maybe invite some friends and do it respectfully and get involved, you know, get yourself on one of the boards. And in New Hampshire, it's really, especially in the smaller towns, you've got to play the long game. It's not about just going one time and yelling at people and then leaving. You know, after I've been on a board for a while, I realize the hours that go into being on a board, especially school board. I have a meeting tonight starting at 6, and it could be 4 hours that you're sitting there on a board having to listen to many different things and trying to think about what's best for everyone. I don't always agree with everything that goes on at the school, but I have to say, hey, we have kids there. We have to do the best for the children, and we have to talk about all of these things in order to make that happen. So it is a long game, and it's not everybody should do as much as I'm doing even. I think I'm doing too much, really. And it's time for more people to step up and take the place, maybe the places on the town boards, since I'm voted in as state rep. You know, you can only do so much. So part of my desire was not to just, oh, I want to do everything. I want to be Miss, you know. I really don't want to do more than I'm doing right now. And I'm happy with my life at school, going to school and everything. But I know if I don't get involved, we're not going to have a country. We're not going to have choices. And so we need conservative people to get involved in the government, because it is supposed to be by the people and for the people. It's not just for the people. It's by the people and for the people. So we have to get involved, and we have to hold them accountable, and then we can be involved and hold ourselves accountable as well. So, and if each of us does a little bit, like good conservative people take the positions on every board, one person, one board, then it won't be as overwhelming as one person doing 3 boards. We have one guy in our town that is doing Board of Selectmen, which is almost a full-time job, as well as school board, and he has a wife and kids. So he's doing a lot, and he likes doing it, but it is a lot. It's a lot for a person to do, and it's kind of like their life right now, because his wife does a lot too. But you have, you know, it would be better if everybody does a little bit, and everything's better with more volunteers, more help. Like last night, we had quite a few people helping out, so that was really nice. Because what we do for voting is, you have the day of the voting, but we also had early voting, and they said there were like 600 ballots of people that voted early. And then there's also absentee ballots. Then there's also, you put all the votes into the machine, the ballots into the machine, and then the machine would kick out anything that was marked wrong, you know, and that would go into a side pocket. And then there were some people who said they wanted their ballot hand counted, so that went into another bin. So what I got at the end of the night, I stayed long enough to get the tapes from the voting machines, and I took a photo of those, and I left. And I could tell from the voting machine tape that we were well above, like, even if there were 300 ballots that had to be hand counted, we were still going to win. So I decided to go home. So I don't really know the actual final count of all of the ballots, but I know that we won, and I know that Trump won our town, but did not win the entire state. But it looks like he did really well overall in our country, so I think there's going to be a lot of happy people today. So I just am hopeful for the future. I hope that we don't give up. Like, just because we may have gotten the president that we want doesn't mean that we stop being vigilant and getting involved, because the reason we got into this problem was because we thought somebody else was going to count the ballots. Somebody else was going to, and we weren't holding our boards accountable. So we're going to still need to be involved and don't give up, and support the current, or the new president in January, and who knows what's going to happen, because some people aren't going to be happy about it. But I'm hoping that if things turn around for the better and we have, you know, prices go down, maybe gas will go down, maybe we can like open the pipelines again, maybe the economy can grow a little bit better, and when things go better for our wallets, then we can have a happier president, have a happier, maybe the people who are opposing the president, Trump, will like him when they see that the results are going to be good. But I don't put my hope in a president. I put my hope in the Lord. And our answer for our country is still not necessarily physical, not economic, but it is a spiritual situation that we need to be careful of. And we need to get back to God and His truth of right and wrong. Some of the battles for this current administration have been moral things that we need to get right before God. Not just that what we want and what you want, but it's what is right and wrong. And so I'm looking forward to good things to happen. I'm glad for our nation. I'm sad for my state. I don't know how we voted on a liberal president, but we voted for a Republican governor. I don't know how that happens, because most people just go straight down the ballot. Only God knows the truth on that situation. But anyway, it's time for me to go to school. I'm going to sign off so that I can focus my thoughts on the coming day. I had a substitute yesterday, so I'm driving in. Hopefully she had a good day yesterday. She usually writes me notes and tells me how things are going or how things went. And I have really good students, and I'm sure they had a fine day. She's a really awesome person. And anyway, so thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Let me know in the comments who you are and what state you live in, and tell me a little bit about yourself. I would love to know who my viewers are. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.